Welcome to Proverbs 14.
Yes, finally.
And
yes.
welcome to our church.
Yes.
So what did you think when we were reading this? We both had the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first, it's daunting. It's kind of it's long, 35 verses.
Yeah, it's long.
But like, as soon as I started getting into it, it was like, and I didn't think that I'd have that many, but like there were so many that touched me.
Right.
Like, what about you?
Yeah, I thought so too. It was like God was talking to me through these Proverbs.
Yes. I felt that way too.
Yeah, even though
totally
they're
did.
so redundant. It's so crazy how they're redundant, but they're also so like good. And sorry. Don't push that. You might have to hear that baby.
Oh.
It's a fake baby, by the way. But anyway, so redundancy means that we need to pay more special attention anyway, So I really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the first one that you liked?
The first one. Yeah. A wise woman builds her house, while a foolish woman tears hers down with her own hands.
Yeah, I liked that too.
And there was some note that I read, sinful people sometimes become highly irrational and foolishly destroy the fruit of many years of work. That's what it said in Chris's study Bible.
Oh, okay.
You're so cute.
Yeah, it is because you eventually you
Yes. So we were talking about the note in my Bible. Yes.
Yeah, because that's right. I was saying like people years and years and years of righteousness can be torn down in a second.
Yes. Oh,
right. I mean that we see that with like pastors, like famous pastors and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's so true. Okay, sorry.
No, I just noticed that.
Yeah. And the opposite can happen too. Like, we just watched The Blind yesterday, if you heard of that.
Yeah.
And, and it's the opposite. Like, his life is a mess. And then when he finds Jesus, like, everything changes. But we still have our struggles. Mm-hmm. And it is true that, like you're saying, that you can work so hard and it all be tore down, if you're not focused on the right things.
Well, that happened with David.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was such a man of God, and in an instant, he let distraction and, like, I don't even know what you call it, like, deceit and all sorts of things go. Like, he was just following his earthly desires.
Yeah, and Solomon, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. And all of us, like, make the wrong choices sometimes. And Oh, yeah. Right. What about the next one you had?
Oh, I just wrote, like, a couple of, like, in, like, tiny notes. Like, into, whoever fears the Lord walks upright, but those who despise him are devious in their ways. Mm. And I put, that just basically means fearing God and following him, essentially.
For sure.
Yeah.
Bobbi has such a good tip for, like, reading chapters like this. Your whole printing it out.
Yeah, I printed out and the whole thing, and then I put it in the center, and that way I can write notes all over it.
Yeah,
I mean, you can do that on regular paper, too,
No, but that's so good. Yeah, but I really liked 4.
Okay.
Where there is no oxen, the manger is clean, but abundant crops come by strength of the oxen. And this was the note I had. Keeping an ox in a stable is a necessary part of labor, even though it involves unpleasant work. Mm. And an empty stable would be clean, but wouldn't produce anything.
Any fruit or anything.
Yes. Yeah. So labor is hard. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, things are not always easy.
Right. Well, I put working hard, but the note in my Bible, I'm going to need my glasses for this one. When farmers have no oxen for plowing, the food troughs for their animals will be clean, but the farmers will be unable to make a living. The only way to keep your life free of people's problems is to keep it free of other people. But if your life is empty of people, it is useless. And if you live only for yourself, your life loses its meaning. Instead of avoiding people, we should serve others, sharing our faith and work for justice. Is your life clean but empty, or does it give evidence of your serving God wholeheartedly? I love that.
Good. I love that too.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's hard work, like doing the things that we're called to do sometimes.
Right.
But that's what we're called to do.
Yeah.
But it is hard because we're tired.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Exactly. Yes. It is hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
And especially if you feel like the serving is one-sided.
Yes.
But towards the end, I comment on that, so I'm not going to do it now.
Okay. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Oh, I loved 5 too. A faithful witness does not lie, but a false witness breathes out lies.
Yeah.
And I thought, what about the lies we tell ourselves? Not just other people, but we lie to ourselves all the time with, being hard on ourselves and, I don't know. When I make mistakes, sometimes I say, Abby, that was so stupid. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's that doesn't help us.
No. I think we all do that too.
Yeah.
In anything, oh, he's not gonna like me because I have baggage, or stuff like that. But those are lies.
Yes.
I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good enough. Or I don't have enough. Those are all lies.
Yeah.
But I put Pharisees because if you're a false witness even to Jesus, if it's not in your heart, then it's no different than lying. That's what I put.
True. That's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have anything for 6?
Yeah, the mocker seeks wisdom and finds none, but knowledge comes easily to the discerning. And I put, because they're only looking for answers that fit their claim, because they'll never be wrong.
Yeah.
They can't, if you have a deceitful person or a mocker, or a self-righteous person, they're not gonna seek real wisdom. They're only gonna look for wisdom that suits their purpose.
Yeah. And there's so much of that just wanting to prove ourselves right instead of...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But faith in Jesus, isn't about that at all. It's about loving God and others.
Right.
But that's part of our culture, isn't it? Wanting to be right.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. And humbleness is important.
Yes.
Again, I wrote a note on that for something else, so we'll just keep going. What's the next one?
7, leave the presence of a fool, for there you do not meet words of knowledge. And it's what we always talk about who are we surrounding ourselves with,
Yeah, I put 5 people you're most like you hang out with the 5 people you most want to be. So exactly the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is so true. I had 10. Did you have anything before 10?
Oh, I don't know, because now I'm where does this one go? 9. It says, fools mock at making amends for sin, but goodwill is found among the upright. And I said, they think they do no wrong. They consider themselves, so the goodwill and even the one before it, if you're carefully considering yourself and you have self-awareness versus just acting and assuming you're amazing. If you're just I'm so great, you can't touch me. Or are you self-aware enough to know that what you're doing is wrong or stupid or silly or whatever? Yeah.
And the awareness, because we all make mistakes sometimes. And if, what you're saying, I love that, self-awareness. If we're, aware, then, of course, we're going to see that we fall sometimes.
Right. And that has a lot to do with, is Jesus in your heart? Because if you ask God to show you what you're doing wrong, he will tell you. You just have to be open to listening to it. What's the next? You have 10. All right, go with that one.
Oh, the heart knows its own bitterness, and no stranger shares its joy. This really, at first, I was like, again, kind of didn't look into it that much. But what I wrote is, we might not understand a person's pain. We might not even agree with their unhappiness is justified.
Right.
And actually, this isn't my note. This is from something. This is from research. Their unhappiness is justified. All the same, other people's suffering is real. Like, even if we don't agree with why are they upset about that, like, I feel like it's about empathy.
I actually wrote hard to understand what someone is truly going through.
Yeah.
Unless you've been through it, which is why, hold on one second, which is why God allows you to have trials so then you can relate to somebody, because, I can't necessarily relate. I can feel for what Abby is going through or went through or whatever, but if I can't relate to it, then I'm not really going to fully understand.
Yeah.
But Abby is going to then be able to relate to somebody who was in her situation or whatever, and that's hard for us to see when you're going through it, but,
Yeah. And we still, like, empathy is kind of amazing what God has given us too.
Right.
Like, we can imagine at least, like, what it would be like. Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, yes. I wish I was better at those things. Oh, there we go.
That's what you wanted? Okay.
But it's a gift, like, to have empathy.
Yeah.
And so that, and the fact that Jesus, like, knows what we're going through and the suffering that he went through.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
What was the next one?
13, the heart feels pain even in laughter, and in the end, joy turns to sorrow. And it's just like what we always talk about, like how earthly happiness, like, it goes away.
Yeah.
It's not forever.
Yeah, I wrote, even if someone appears happy, they might not be.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it's the deep-rooted happiness that we have because of Jesus.
Right, exactly. You know, it's funny because I was kind of having a rough day, but I didn't look like I was having a bad day.
Yeah.
But it's your deep-rooted, like,
yes.
God is really squeezing me lately. However, I know it'll all work out.
Yeah.
And so there is that deep joy.
Yeah. And after we do these YouTube videos or our podcast, like, it's like we need them because and just any time alone with God, because, like, time in his word is like a cure.
Yeah. It is. It's so true.
Yes, it really is.
All right, what's the next one? I know.
15, the naive believe anything, but the prudent give thought to their steps. So, like, thinking about things, and not just believing anything.
Yep.
I just had so many. Like, the wise are careful, which ties to that. Like, being careful. But I really liked 17.
Okay.
Short-tempered people makes... What? Is this really what my... Let me look. This is really my... Short-tempered people make stupid mistakes, and schemers are hated.
Mine says a quick-tempered person does foolish things.
Okay.
And the one who devises evil schemes is hated.
Yeah. Oh.
But you do, like, I put regretful behavior without wisdom, because when someone, like, we've all seen those videos where somebody cuts somebody off in traffic and then you, like, slam your car into theirs.
Yeah. Was it that
Necessary? Like, hot-headed, short-tempered.
Yeah.
I
was short-tempered this week. It's easy to be short-tempered when we're tired. Like, at the end of I think it's probably more common at the end of the day than the beginning. Yeah. For me, at least. And I don't really yell very much at my kids, but Brooks was asking me for water, and I was like, why the heck can't you get it yourself?
Yeah.
You know? And I just kind of, it was the whole being careful, because we need to think before things come out of our mouth.
Right.
And I just like said it. And I said a swear, which I don't swear that often. Sometimes I'm only human. And Brooks was really upset at me. Like, you said the SH word? And he was like, and you know what? I apologized afterwards, because yes, I could have said, Brooks, I'm tired. I've had a long day. Get your own water, you know, instead of like the short-tempered response, which never, it doesn't make us feel good. It doesn't make the people around us feel good. And so it's like it's self-control, right?
That's the only time you can count on one hand that you were short-tempered this week? No, I'm just kidding. No, because I was last night. I was like falling asleep, and Alex goes, Mama, water, 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 water. And I was like, what? Can't you ask me politely? Like, do you really need water right now? So yeah, same thing, water.
Yeah. It's so hard. And sometimes it's God telling us, at least for me, like, I need to make changes, you know?
Right.
Because I'm so tired at the end of the day. I could change things around in my schedule to not be, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well.
But it's hard. Oh, yes. What was the next one you had? Here you go.
Oh, man, I wish I could.
I liked 20 was the next one I had. Oh.
I think I had, oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
No, don't be.
Okay, well, I had 19.
Yes.
Evildoers will bow down in the presence of the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. And I put Jesus in God's timing, Luke. Because that's like, karma. Like, you know.
Yes.
So, whoever humbles himself will be exalted, and whoever exalts himself will be humbled. That verse made me think of it.
Yeah, it all works out. Yeah. I think there's things about that, and like the chapter I'm obsessed with, the Romans 12, about that the wrath works out. Like, be kind to your enemies, and like, you know, God's gonna handle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even their neighbors hate the poor, but many love the wealthy. And from what I looked into, it's like an observation of the world, and that is kind of the way it is. We idolize
money.
We do, and things.
Yeah. I said have many friends, but none loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was good.
Oh, that's empty. Yeah. Those who despise their neighbors are sinners, but happy are those who are kind to the needy.
Which one is that?
That's 21.
Oh,
that's verse 21.
Sorry.
Yeah. Which it's just such reminders, and you're so good at that. Bobbi is very kind to the people that you're like, to your neighbors.
Well, I have good neighbors, but so I put made in the image of God. Like, we're all made in the image of God.
Yeah.
You don't have to hang out. Like, you don't have to hang out with your neighbors or people that you don't necessarily like, but you have to witness to them, right? And you have to lead by example. And then I was in a Bible study on Sunday, and they were talking about kind of like forgiveness, and like, you can shake the dust off your sandals, like Jesus said, but if that person that wouldn't listen to you, planting seeds or whatever, comes back, you have to be able to forgive them in that instant.
Yes. Yep. Because it's not about us or our pride. It's about the gospel. 26, like, really, I put a star next to it, so there must have been something in it. In the fear of the Lord is strong confidence and refuge. And refuge for one's children. Yes. And it's like it's what molds our character and our kids' character. Like, it's what we need.
Yeah. I put that too. I put bring your children up to have God as their foundation.
Yes.
And then God will be their refuge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's how why I started following, or how I got sucked in because I was like, oh no, Alex can't have the foundation of this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a gift that even after, with all we're surrounded by, we can give that to our children.
Yeah.
It's, and so many things. 30 is beautiful. A peaceful mind gives life to the body, but jealousy rots the bones.
Yeah. I wrote, because I love this one too.
Yes.
It's so true. Like, jealousy, mine says envy. At the end of the day, discontentment. Discontentment really does take your joy and your peace and your gratitude and everything, and will plummet your mental health.
Yeah.
It will absolutely plummet your mental health.
And your physical health. Like, it just affects all of us. Yep. You know, all of our bodies.
Yes, we're almost done.
And it's just, and the only way to have that peace is with Jesus. You know, it's just the only way.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh. And
here, bud.
I'm just so thankful that we can be filled with the Holy Spirit and have that peace.
Yep. I love that. Is there another one?
Yes. 31. Those who exploit the powerless anger their maker. I mean,
it is true. Like I said, God will have the last say.
Yeah.
God will have the last say. Did I read that? No.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know where it is, but or maybe I wrote it in Mark or something, but I don't know. We're doing so many studies, but yeah, like God will have the last say, right? And karma will come eventually.
Oh, yes.
We just might not see it.
Yeah, and it's all about Him. We let our own stuff get in the way of like the gospel, because that's what it's really about. The last one I had was 33. Wisdom resides in an understanding heart, but it's not known in fools. Which is like the theme of Proverbs, isn't it?
Yep.
But we need to understand and have like our hearts to take in take in things like yes. What else did you have?
That was it. Was it. This was a good proverb.
It was. Yes.
I mean, they're all good, but I like this one.
Yeah, there's just so much in it. And so we're like almost halfway done Proverbs, kind of, almost. And we're doing Jonah.
Yes, on our podcast. So that's a lot of fun.
Yes.
I love Jonah. I really do. And we just did this last podcast with Abby's husband, Chris, and our friend, Ricky. And it was like facts and like, we call it debates, but we didn't really debate. But it was still a lot of fun. Yeah. And so we should have probably posted that one before we did chapter 1. But still, it was good. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's this week, like, amazing that like God hears us no matter where we are, even him in the whale.
Right.
God always, he listens and he's always there. So it's such a blessing.
Yeah. The Bible intertwines, whatever. So there's a lot of like parallels between even like Proverbs and Jonah. So
yeah. Oh.
All right.
We hope you have such a good rest of your week. And
yes.
Yes, we'll see you next week.
Thank you for hanging out. All right,
okay,
bye.
Bye.